along with me. We are the Eagles on the road to victory. All for one and one for all. We'll answer to the call. We're the greatest team of all. No wonder it's forever. We will always stick together. We will always do our best to see it through for the good old gold and blue. Then sing along with me. We are the Eagles on the road to victory. All for one and one for all. We'll answer to the call. We're the greatest team of all. No wonder it's forever. We will always stick together. We will always do our best to see it through for the good old gold and blue.
Good evening and welcome to AFL&T's coverage of the 2022-23 TIO NTFL season from TIO Stadium here in Darwin. I'm Will Zwar. With me is Damien Hale, and we've got Wanderers versus the Buffaloes tonight. Damien, thoughts on the game ahead?
Oh, look, I think, Will, it's been well documented that Marlon Motlop's getting married and today in Adelaide, I believe. And so there's only Jerome Motlop's the only one of the boys that's playing. And so obviously they've got a fair chunk of their team out, but it'll be interesting to see. They've got an opportunity to bring some young players in, and this time of year they can't make finals, so why not give some of the kids a go and get them sort of a sniff for next year. But yeah, I'm expecting Darwin with a few big ins that have come back in. Johnny Verotis is back in for them. Didn't play last week. Mitch Robinson's also back in, and also Ryan Pendlebury. So got a couple of handy players coming back in for the Buffs, and the Buffs sort of need to have a win. They've been a bit up and down. They've lost their last two, so they'll be wanting to get back to some winning form before the finals. Yeah, absolutely. And it's, look, it's interesting because you look at it and it's not really a mouth-watering clash, but arguably the contest that could have the most impact on the ladder as it stands now. I think including Wanderers, and it's a very big mathematical chance, but Wanderers and Pint are both relying on Darwin to lose this week and next week for either of them to have any chance of playing in finals. But yeah, for the Buffs, meanwhile, if they can take away tonight's win, it seals up that final five position for them. Yeah, I bumped into Cammy Stokes, the coach, coming in, and he was, they've got Southern Districts last home and away, so they've got this game and then the Southern Districts game next week, which will tune them up nicely for an elimination final, which will probably be against Nightcliff. So we'll start in the middle, as we always do, and Eddie Simpson, the big ruckman and captain today, wearing the number 0 in our Towards Zero campaign round this week. Buffs will be first forward. Prime Train gets the first real clearance of the game, kick forward, and he gets a second one as well, this time on his left. Bounces into the forward line. Coming through there, looks like it's Dustin Briscoe for the Wanderers. Kick forward again, and Liam Patrick at the fore of the ball here. Good work there from Moroney to get a fist to it. Ball bounces over the boundary line. And two very good causes as part of tonight's game. Obviously, as we mentioned, it's Towards Zero round, hoping to raise awareness for our road toll. Want to get that number as low as we can, ideally at 0. We've got both captains tonight wearing 0 and the umpire also wearing 0. And you might notice the Wanderers are wearing a different shade tonight, Damien. They're wearing pink for breast cancer, raising money for breast cancer awareness. So great initiative to get behind. And given both these teams usually, it's a good mark inside 50 early to Marcus Totham. Given these sides both usually wear blue, it's not a bad occasion for them to don the pink strip. Yeah, it looks good under the lights at TIO. Well done there by young Totham, playing in front first to move, where forward should always be for the quick kick. Very quick off the board. Has that gone through? No, it just touched over. They're on the board though. Might be one of the few times they are in front tonight, the Wanderers. Kick comes out, finds Mitch Robinson. He'll go backwards again. Short, sharp to Stokes. Down the line. Good mark there from Favretto. And this time to Will Robinson. Two Robinsons tonight on the Buffaloes list. Not sure if there's any relation between them, but both looking quite pasty out there. Don't look like they'd enjoy a day under full sun, do they, Damien? No, I think Mitch much prefers the lights, but he's probably acclimatised a little bit now from when he was when he started up here. It's been great having him in town. He had a suspension, I think, last week, didn't he? And I pulled his hammy in the rep game as well. Yeah, so he's been a bit of a disrupted post-Christmas season for Mitch Robinson. Still super fit, coming off an AFL list. And the games I have seen the Buffs play, when they've played well, he's played well too. So he is a bit of a barometer for them. I know that word can be thrown around a fair bit in footy circles and often not very accurately, but I think with him, when he plays well, the Buffs play well too. Big long kick from O'Connell inside 50. Will Robinson gets a fist in there as well, and Pendlebury doing the body work. Yeah, certainly last week they missed having Pendlebury in the side, the big boppers at Nightcliff, Big Johnny Butcher and Sammy Overall. Just too big, too strong, and Robinson was the other one for Nightcliff. And good to see Pendlebury's back into that back line for Buffaloes, just to stiffen them up a little bit.
And those two big forwards, I think, kicked 12 or so between them, 13, did they, Damien?
Yeah,
13
6
between
and
them.
7, I think it was in the end.
So Totham close to goal again, just weaving in and out of a few plays, gets it over top to JJ Motlop. Handball through there as well. Robinson now gets it out. Campbell, another former AFL star on the Buffs list, kicks it out there. Good mark from Palmer. Palmer kicks it down the line. Good mark to Bolt. He'll play on his left. Didn't have a great game last week, Bolt.
Oh.
That kick not great to Stafford.
I think the kick was all right. Big Dan sort of dropped one that he'd usually take, and he's been given a free kick. A little bit of a get out of jail there for Dan Stafford. Wasn't a bad kick from Bolch.
The social media superstar Bolch, he's another interesting one. He's had a really good start to the season pre-Christmas, and post-Christmas just hasn't really hit his straps as much, has he?
Yeah, I think his second half last week was better than his first.
Stafford's kick on goal, just through for behind. Dylan Dos Santos has had an interesting few weeks. He played last week on, I think it was on Dion Munkara, and he played the week before on Jaden Magro, and didn't do too badly on them. So he sort of does play on the opposition's most dangerous sort of, or crafty forward, I guess you could say.
Yep.
Keep an eye on the helmet and see who he's picking up tonight. He's currently lining up back there on Hassana Matt Watkins, it looks like.
So Simpson's in the ruck now with Woodbury, is it?
Yeah, Tyrell Woodbury. Dancing through there, I think that was Boyce. Gets it to Arbin. Arbin kicks it forward now. Thorne, the target, he played very well last week too against the Bombers. Handball from Stokes, just misses Robinson, goes over the boundary line.
A little bit of a lull in proceedings, really, the start of this game. I sort of thought there'd be a little bit more fire in the belly from both sides, just feeling each other out.
Yeah, you're right. And, particularly given the game we had before was probably one of the games of the year. Kick after the siren from Brandon Grenfell put the Saints in front for the first time all day by just a single point. I know my heart was racing during that one, and I don't know, not sure if these players are out the back, probably training and preparing for their game ahead. But yeah, you're right, it's a bit of a slower start.
Real issue for Buffaloes has been in their ruck area. Christopher Atkinson's not playing again tonight. I don't see him out there, and they're just running undersized ruckman all the time. And you know, it was really obvious. Bowden last, or what was his name? Bowen, sorry. The Nightcliff ruckman sort of absolutely dominated at the centre bounces last week, and Simpson once again should really do quite well, you know, against an undersized ruckman here that Darwin's got.
And Simpson did dominate last week against the Bombers as well. He's not a traditionally doesn't usually play in that first ruck role. Here comes Stokes through, taking a bounce. He's another player who, when he's on the Buffs are on, that's not a great kick. Now comes to Simpson. That's a short kick to Dos Santos. Kept alive by Campbell. Stokes just toe taps it forward as well, but there's no one there, and Wanderers will come away with this easy enough, you'd think. There's McMurray. Spins around and kicks it back out that original side. Finds Arbin. Simpson, yeah, doesn't really... I think he prefers playing centre half forward or full forward, but when he is in the ruck against an undersized man, he knows exactly how to make it work in his favour, and that's what he did last week.
He's just have to replace the divot there.
Turns it over to Robinson.
He just hit a little wedge, chip and run. Kicked it straight to Robinson on the mark. Surprised him. Big Ed.
Ed Simpson. I get him and Ed Morris's names muddled up. Apologies to our listeners and to both Eds. Now working it forward.
Two Eds are better than one.
They are. Good mark there defensively from, I think it's Briscoe.
Yeah, Briscoe.
He now goes out. Not a good kick though. He's got two to beat, and here comes a milestone man. Liam Holt fits on goal. Just shy, the wrong side of the post, and Well done to Liam. I think it's 100 games up for him today.
NTFL games.
Cheney medalist, as we know from Nightcliffe's drought-breaking flag 4 years ago now. Kicked a couple of bags of 5 this year, I reckon, as well. Very handy footballer.
Yeah, he's been a good pick-up for Buffaloes. Him and Coco Nicky. Oh, someone's given away a 50.
And umpires have been hot on that this weekend from what I've seen so far. Encroaching and just making sure that everyone's sort of aware of the rules, what's right, what's wrong ahead of finals, I'd say. Here comes Arbin, now kicks it to Patrick, long and deep. Goes beyond the maul. Thorne, he'll run onto it. Will he dribble it through? No, he'll go for an air shot. And it's just the wrong side of the post. Yeah,
it's such a big penalty, isn't it? 50 metres. For really, it's a concentration thing if you run into that area. It's, you know, encroaching to a really soft 50-metre free kick to give away.
I think in that last game we saw almost 5 or 6 goals scored from 50-metre penalties. So, yeah, they are very hot on it. Good mark there from Eldridge under the lights. He goes short and sharp and keeps going down the line, but that's not a good one. Intercepted by Nook Mansell. Goes down the line to Patrick in a paddock of space. Just built himself a nice lead there. Centres it now to O'Connell. In fact, it's Totham. In fact, it is O'Connell. Should have backed myself there, Haley.
Yeah, you should have backed yourself in, Willie. You usually do.
That's a good kick there now to Totham.
Yeah, I think.
Or is it Boys?
Yeah,
I've
Boys.
done it again.
No, it's Boys. Look, you know, Sterling Mitchell buffs are out there, and just the one-step kick, turnover, and now Wanderers have been able to get it into the forward 50 and have a shot on goal with Boyce.
Again, just fades, so neither team yet to kick a major as we tick over 10 minutes here in the first quarter.
Stokes brings it back in, goes short. The evergreen Matty Campbell had a few interesting moments last week, wound the clock back. Bolch goes short to Eldridge, half back flank, and steps over the mark there. Kelvin Howard, the youngster.
So they're on it, aren't they?
Yeah, they're on it today. So a few of these young Wanderers players, they've got plenty of blokes weren't around in the last century playing for them today, Wanderers. And in goes Joey Collinson, goes nice and deep in the area of Stafford. And Wanderers just see that one out over the sideline. Well done there by Joel Cabillo. So, yeah, get it into Stafford. That'd be the simple stuff on a slippery night like tonight, Will. You know, go long, get it into Daniel Stafford. If he doesn't mark it, well, then there's the small crummers in, you know, Liam Fitzholtz and these guys around the bottom of the packs. Tommy Clark's up there. Ball comes in. Stafford knocks it back towards the corridor. Picked up by O'Connell. Shows a clean pair of heels, but he turns it straight over on his left to Matty Campbell, and Matty Campbell across the stripe to a contest. Feeds it back out. Vrodas throws it on the right boot. It's a fumble there. Well done by, I think that was Briscoe. Briscoe gave the handball. Well done. Oh, I don't know about that one. I think he had his eyes for the footy, the young fella Howard, on that occasion, but gives away the free kick to Pendlebury.
Unlikely first goal scorer if he converts here, Haley.
Been a very reliable player for a few years now, Pendlebury. Ryan Pendlebury, he'll kick from about 45 by the time he makes contact on the left foot. Pushes it across the face, misses to the left. We'll do it all again. Briscoe, or it'll be
Dos Santos.
Yeah, Dos Santos.
He comes out now, finds O'Connell. He'll go out that far side. And free kick paid to Arbin. So again, just a slow start in this one. Wanderers not looking to take too many risks at all. Here's Thorne, just defensively of the wing. Now he'll kick long to Patrick. Comes off hands. Getting a boot to ball there was Tyson White. Could he be lively? Doesn't look to be. Comes back to Thorne from an errant Stokes kick. Goes in the middle of the ground, and now he could be on. Handball comes out to Dre Thompson. Dre Thompson handballs it over the top. Bolsh picks it up and handballs it through. Now with Clark. Comes back in. Sharples. Handball out to Stokes, and Stokes will go for a run. No. Face to wall, so had to handball it over the top. Will come and collect it again. He'll get it inboard to Vrodos. They're not clean at all, the Buffs. This is not the way they'd want to be preparing for a big finals campaign and a big challenge next week against the ladder leaders. Bradley Stokes now picks it up.
Yeah, very fumbly, isn't it, at the moment?
Free kick going Wanderers' way. Tyson White will take it.
Looks like a bit of rain on the way. We don't sort of want rain at the moment. It's going to make it even more fumbly.
Good mark there from Pendlebury.
This game does not need rain.
And Campbell gets it over to Bolsh. He keeps going now to Clark. He'll play on. Another quick one over the top to Bolsh. Gee, had some heat coming in from behind. O'Connell just picks it up and kept running. Not a good kick, though, at all. Finds JJ Motlop. He comes out now to Totham in plenty of space on the wing, so he will turn and go. Takes one bounce. Will have to handball it over the top. Puts his teammate under pressure. Running in is Nicky. Totham will come and have another crack. Picks it up. Dances around one. Almost run down, but has a shot on goal. Where will it bounce? The wrong side of the post. Another behind.
It's just all a little bit scrappy at the moment, but when they do get clear and use the ball better, Wanderers I think look a little bit better at the moment than the Buffs. Be Bradley Stokes to bring it back in. The custodian, who's regular at fullback, and he goes short. He finds Tommy Clark.
Yeah, Wanderers
back to Stokes.
Wanderers feel like they're playing for something. It doesn't really feel like the Buffs are at the minute, and it's almost opposite in terms of the stakes these teams face, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Favretto has turned it over. JJ Motlop pumps it back in again. Well done there by Thompson. He's showing a clean heel, has a little bounce and then fumbles it. And it's picked up by Favretto. And Kevin Moroney sees it out over the sideline. So it's very uninspiring start, to be honest. But both sides still feeling their way out. 4-3 after 15 minutes. Still waiting on our first goal of the game. So the boundary line umpire's come in a little bit. He's going to throw this one into the corridor. Here it comes in. Up goes Mitchell. Thompson goes through, leaves it behind. It's hacked out there. McMurray throws it on the boot. Good attack of the ball there by the Wanderers player in Lewis. He's tackled, set upon straight away by, I think that might have been Kevin Moroney. And the boundary and the umpire comes in. He's going to ball that one up. 4-3, 15, nearly 16 minutes gone, first quarter. Still waiting on our first goal.
Still waiting on a lot of things in this one. A bit of spark, a bit of fire. Something to excite us, Haley.
Yeah, Tommy Clark's put himself into the ruck and given away a free kick.
That sort of night.
So Wanderers are going to have a shot on goal here, and he's going to go to the stripe. Somebody's given out a little bit of unsolicited advice to the umpire. He hasn't appreciated it, and we're going to have a shot on goal. This should bring up Wanderers' first goal of the game, which will be Tyson White. Comes in, makes no mistake, bang. Wanderers have hit the scoreboard. 1-4-10, leading Buffaloes 3 behinds at the 16.5-minute mark.
Talented and exciting player, Tyson White, when he's on, and you wouldn't mind having a little shootout between him and Liam Holtfitz down the other end of the ground tonight. They can sort of kick him from anywhere, from any angle, from any foot and any side of their feet.
Yeah, well, Buffs need to make sure that they don't take Wanderers too lightly, because all the talk during the week was, all the boys will be away at the wedding and Wanderers will be very depleted. But sometimes what happens is Div 1 players are given an opportunity, and young players come in, and if you're not on your mettle, you can be beaten. All right, we're back in the centre bounce. Ball's knocked down there by to Buff's advantage. Picked up in the middle there. Tommy Belch tries to throw it on the boot. Ball comes out here again to Matt Watkins, who finally picks it up. jams it into Stokes, who was Buffalo's best last week in a well-beaten side against the Tigers. The skipper was really good. He puts that one into the direction of Dan Stafford.
Great kick there.
Beautifully weighted kick and just willed him into it. And Daniel Stafford didn't let him down. Talented big man from Alice Springs, who's when he's on, he's a fantastic leading forward. Great hands, beautiful kick generally. So let's see if he can put Buffaloes on the scoreboard. Buffs need a bit of spark. They need to get going. And he comes. He'll kick from about 45. Roosts it up there, and he'll need to be working back beautifully. Oh. And the wind comes around the side of the grandstand down that end, Will, and puts that one through. So the Buffs have got their first 1-goal-3. It's taken 18, nearly 19 minutes. 1-goal-3-9, trailing Wanderers 1-4-10.
Wobbly old kick, but it worked back beautifully. And Stokes is another one of those players who's, as we said, a bit of a barometer. And I reckon he's probably third in line for the Nichols at this stage of the season, behind the two Dylans, Lant and Collis. But
well, I reckon he would have picked up a vote last week behind, I thought Johnny Butcher and Brody Philo was outstanding. So Philo probably a 3, Johnny Butcher a 2 last week, and I think Jared Stokes might have grabbed a 1.
And that's
pretty handy.
Yeah, Stokes is the sort of player as well where he will pick up the odd 1 or 2 in losing matches as well. And unlike the two Dylans we mentioned as well, there's not a lot of other players who are likely to steal, or not as many who are likely to steal votes from Stokes. So watch him on Nichols medal night. Here he comes again, gets a handball off to Armout Watkins. Quick kick off the side to Clark. Couldn't take the mark, so paddles it out into space. And there's Nicky. Just karate kick, kicks it out of mid-air to hold fits the milestone man on his left. Has that gone through? Just to behind.
Well, I'm glad you were calling that passage of play. I think there was about 3 drop chest marks. It was a hack off the ground.
Scrappy old night, isn't it?
It is. Just need to settle a little bit.
Dos Santos touches it on the ground, doesn't want to bounce. Looks for the big fella. Has he taken it? No, not quite. Buffs have another crack. Stokes through to Pendlebury, over the top to Bulk. Into the forward line. They've got numbers. Here comes Palmer. Into the corridor. Clark trying to work it through. Handball comes out to Mansell. Now to Arbin. Arbin will go out the far side, but there's not a lot to go to. Might have gotten confused with the 2 water runners also in bright pink, but he's found Thorne. Now keeps going to the big man, Ed Simpson. In plenty of space and something all by himself, so we'll turn and kick forward to Patrick.
Oh, beautifully done.
Great kick, great mark.
Well, even if they mix it up a little bit and get Patrick up onto the ball, he's done plenty of ruck work. He's a bit of a senior citizen now.
And particularly against an undersized ruck opposition, wouldn't be the worst outcome.
Yeah, you can push Ed forward, and they've probably got that rotation going. But, I think he's probably around 34 now these days, Liam.
Kicks through. Is that gone? No, just paddled over. And the only bloke out there who really looks big enough to stop Simpson at full forward would be Stafford, and you don't really want to take him away from your forward line there, do you?
No, not at all.
Comes back in, finds
could go with Pendlebury at some stage. He might jump in there and give him a bit of a chop out. Bolch in the back pocket, looking around. Tommy Bolch has it deep, chips over the top. Well done to Pendlebury. He'll go to his left foot, or he'll go by hand to Bolch. Good running by Bolch. He goes back to Pendlebury, back to Robinson, racking up a few stats, and we're back to where we were.
We nearly got themselves into trouble there.
Bolch. There's quarter time already. 11 plays 10 at quarter time here at TIO. Wanderers slightly in front. And you're watching the AFL's coverage of the 2022-23 NTFL season from TIO Stadium in Darwin. We'll be back with the second quarter shortly.
Goes for home and it's nailed, an absolute Nightcliff under pressure here. They're coming out through Vile. He's turned the ball over. Picked up by Atkins. Hands off quickly to Stokes. They've got to get tighter on Jared Stokes in that situation. He goes long and Stokes, he's kicked the first goal of the game. The skipper, Jared Stokes, has started well for Buffaloes.
Skilly?
Di Pasquale, he started the game
It's a
well. Philo, they've got to man him up. He will kick it from 50.
And he loves it.
He loves it. I think he was knocked over after it too. But it doesn't matter. Brody Philo's kicked one for Tigers. Gets the ball over there to the Nightcliff player. He chips it sideways. Picked up there by Butcher. Butcher onto his left foot. Kicks it in deep. And it's a goal. They were looking around for it. They lost sight of that one, and Butcher's kicked it on his left foot. That's one for the archives.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium for AFL&T's coverage of the 2022-23 TIO NTFL season. We're here at TIO Stadium, Darwin. I'm Will Czar. With me is Damien Hale, and it's been a riveting start to this clash between the Wanderers and the Buffaloes. 1 point between them. Wanderers with an unlikely lead early.
Yeah, well, I suppose under different circumstances, this would be a one-to-watch type of game, but Wanderers are just playing for a bit of pride at the moment for the rest of the season. Buffaloes look as though they're probably saving themselves for the finals to a certain extent, but they need to make sure they win this game. They've been a little bit lackadaisical, Will, to be honest. The start to this game, Wanderers have, probably had all the, a fair bit of the play, and probably could have been a little bit more in front even.
Here we go. We'll see how they start. Eddie Simpson. Here I go again. He's having a pretty big presence in the middle of the ground. Now comes out and will get out that far side. Campbell, bit of experience on his head. He's just gotten in the way there, intercepted, and he might get on the end of one here. He does. No, he doesn't. Good work there from Briscoe, who's been lively early as well, but just working out to that far side. And it comes to O'Connell. It's been pretty good player for them this year. O'Connell, a Nichols medalist, I think when he was just 18 or 19, Haley.
Yeah, he drew with Brody Philo from Nightcliff, and Brody's second medal.
Now with boys. Kicks it very Good kick to the lead there of his teammate up forward. Might be Jack Burke. It is Burke, and he goes for a short one over the top as well. That's a great kick. It's found Dre Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson's been okay. He's obviously got some leg speed, hasn't he? And which is always handy up in the Northern Territory Football League. And I've sort of been impressed with watching him a few times that he has shown a clean pair of heels on occasion. Good pace.
So Dre Thompson comes in just behind there. He's been a pretty handy player, and he's the kind of player it looks like Aaron Motlop can just say, I need you down back, I need you up forward, I need you on the wing, and he'll go and not necessarily tear the house down, but do a pretty good job at it when he can. Buff's looking to move pretty quickly on the rebound. Now through for Vretto. It's Nicky there on the half-forward line. He couldn't keep it. In fact, sorry, it's... no, it is Nicky. Push in the back, given against the Buffs player. Will go the way of Mansell. Goes down that far side. Robinson gets a fifth in the way now. Stokes, he's got Bulk in the middle if he wants him. Just handball it over the top to get to him, and instead it'll be Sterling Mitchell running through the middle of the ground. Matt Watkins almost held without it. The big fella, Stafford runs onto it, snaps towards goal. Umpire's moved a little bit, just the wrong side of the post. That would have been a pretty handy goal, wouldn't it, Damien?
Yeah, it would have been. Big Stafford doing the front and centre on that occasion to the contest.
Kick comes in, finds Mansell. Slowly but surely, he's been more or less the Wanderers' mantra today. Short, sharp passes. And then once they break that half-back line, bomb it long. Didn't work on that occasion, did it? Matt Watkins the target there. He's bounced off the ground. He's just pushed his opponent in Dos Santos down and still attacking the ball. Try to pick it up then. Cabillo takes it out of bounds. We'll have a boundary throw in the forward pocket.
Plenty of energy then from Matt Watkins, trying to lift his teammates. There's a lot of walking going on, a lot of hands on hips from both sides. Who's going to get some inspiration going into this game? Fire it up a little bit.
There's 3 votes up for grabs, everyone. Who wants them?
That's it.
Free kick plucked out of the ruck there. Looks like it's going the way of Mitchell.
Yeah, I watched the when young Thompson was lining up for goal, and he probably only took about 10-15 seconds.
Hands it off to Campbell from outside 50. Goes to the hot spot. Bulks there, looking to contest. Takes it from ground level and snaps through. He gets his first. There goes the prime train. That's one for TikTok.
Yeah, well done there by Tommy Bolch. And the point I was just making, that the senior guys at Wanderers probably had to get across to Thompson and say, take your full 30 seconds, because what happened was he rushed the kick, kicked it behind, and then there wasn't enough time for them to set a zone or to go man on man or to work out what they're going to do defensively, and Buff's got a very easy back exit. So yeah, just a little thing that the young player will learn, that when you do have a shot on goal, the reason you take your time and soak up, get yourself set properly and take your 30 seconds gives your team a chance to set your defensive pattern, whatever pattern you're doing. If you're doing a zone or whether you're going man on man, it gives you a chance to set all that up. And so it was very easy for Buffaloes to exit out of their back 50 on that occasion, and they've now got a goal.
Ball up in the middle. I think that's hit Mitchell in the head as it's come down.
It was a falcon.
It's a fine. Ball comes back, and Arbin just a high tumbly one again.
He's been busy, Arbin. He's gone quite well early in this game.
Been a handy player for them this season. Through the middle when they've been lacking a bit of power in the engine room. That kick goes out wide to Clark. Similar sort of couple of years to Brodie Carroll. Was one of the better players almost in the competition last year and hasn't quite backed it up this year. But if you isolate this season alone, both of them still having very good years. And Tom Clark, the vice-captain, obviously the Buffaloes as well. That kick comes back to Pendlebury now. He goes inboard to Vrodos.
Johnny, go long, Johnny. Ooh.
Laser beam like pass to Stafford. Almost just try to pick it up and turn and swivel, but it didn't quite work out. Kicked off the ground there by Boyce. Vrodos running through. He'll have another crack, really. Paddles it to his own advantage, then gets it to Stokes. Stokes has a few to get through. Got through and got the ball out. Held without it and slung without it. So free kick going Stokes' way, is it?
Oh, dear. Oh, dear me. I thought they were two very good tackles then. And I would have gone the other way. I thought it was Holden dropping the ball. They executed the tackle very well. So unlucky there for the Wanderers players. And Jared Stokes will get to have a shot on goal. Better effort, a bit more energy from Darwin in the last couple of minutes. Realised the urgency, and it's probably been Matty Campbell pushing up into the midfield a little bit that's got him sparked a little bit. He'll know the importance of winning this football game. His experience will tell him that.
In comes Jared Stokes. Good kick. It's cleared the fingers and through for the Buffs third. Just building a handy lead here. Now out to an 11-point lead. 3-5-23. Leading Wanderers 1-6-12.
Yeah, good goal there by Jared Stokes, the captain. He does sometimes think they need... Well, last weekend he was in the middle. He was kicking across the stripe. He was kicking goals, and then he was getting the ball from the kick-ins at fullback. So they sort of need a Jared Stokes in each third of the field. A few of the other guys need to get in, and he can't be doing it all on his own. So get in and give him a bit more of a hand. Back at the centre bounce again. It'll be Woodbury up against who we got there? Big Simpson.
Boys, he gets a handball through to O'Connell from outside 50. He's just launched it for home. Bounced the wrong side of the post, but that would have been something to lift the Wanderers' spirits.
Yeah, good quick entry there from Wanderers.
Good kick inside 50. It had to be. Once Pendlebury looking to give it off, and he does. He goes over the top to Campbell. Campbell keeps going. Now goes out onto that wing. They'll keep working it down. Mansell is playing pretty well there on that half-back line.
Yeah, good mark by Nook Mansell. Been a stalwart of Wanderers club for a long time.
Good kick as well. Found Boyce.
Certainly a veteran now at 35 or so. Nook Mansell.
Arbin just assessing his options here. Inside 50, Patrick definitely the target here. Goes beyond the maul. Matt Watkins will pick them up and he'll kick across goal to Bulk. Geez, that gone out on the full. Just touched over, got very lucky there. Dangerous kick.
Yeah, just Tyson White then just flew in the contest against Liam Patrick. So, you know, when Liam's there set to contest the market, he might be better off getting around to a front and centre position and giving him support at front and centre. Just a little thing that, you know, in the end they both went up in the same ball and there was no one down to do any crumbing for them.
So just picking the ball up mid-air. I think it might have been Sharples. Goes into the middle of the ground, but mark taken by Cabillo.
It's been okay, Cabillo.
Plays on, kicks it inside 50. Thompson couldn't take the mark. Held without it though. And he'll have another crack, will he?
Yeah, and see, this is the one now where you should, a senior player, just go across and have a little chat to him. Just say, calm down, go back and size it up. You've got 30 seconds. These guys here for Wanderers just wandering through. Whether or not they, you know, that's when you want to be blocking your exit points. Somebody, you know, instructing, maybe Big Simpson there at the back, telling guys where to stand and get set while Thompson's lining up for goal.
Won't be a goal, won't be a score, but it'll come off hands. Go over the back and another boundary throw in. Not a bad position for the Wanderers, but they need to make something from it here. So we tick over 10.5 minutes in this second quarter here at TIO Stadium.
It's not Shane Thorne's cop one. He's down at the moment. All fours. Thorny.
And there's a blood rule as well.
So he's got a cut over the eye or something. So he'll come off. Need some running repairs. Plays 23. The Buffs by 10 points. Almost 11 and a half minutes gone. Will?
Still trying to find a spark in this one. Some good goals from Bulk and from Stafford. Here's Bulk now. He gets the hands out. Wanderers well in this one and haven't been in a lot of games this year, so you'd think they'd want to try and make the most of it while they can. Buffs. Oh, gee, JJ Motlop just toe tapped it forward. Might get it back, Willie. It's a free kick against Burke, is it? Or to Burke? It's to Burke for being held and almost lucky not to give one away there as well. The free kick was definitely there, but in trying to remonstrate, he's just thrown his opponent off.
Paid the first one, I suppose.
Yeah.
And pointed the other way initially. The umpire seen him as he came in.
So he'll run around and snap it through. We'll have a snap on goal. Where he snaps it through is a different question. That one's offline. 1 goal, 8 they're on. So they've had the opportunities, Haley, but just haven't been able to convert.
Yep. A little bit wasteful, Wanderers. They're getting some chances. Long kick comes out from Stokes.
Now,
Picked up by Robinson, goes over to Campbell. Campbell puts a handball over to Joey Collinson, feeds it back to Moroney. Moroney chips it over the top in the direction of, can't pick that player up, it might have been Sharples. Ball picked up by Wanderers, put back inboard.
Gee, that was a floater if I've ever seen one.
There was a pie floater, and the umpire said it might have been touched off the boot. No one got it, and the umpire will go over and ball this one up. 13 minutes gone, Will. We're still out.
Woodbury gets the hit out down there now. Buffs looking to move forward, are they? Stokes picks it up. Just straightens himself up. Goes over the top, running into it in an open goal. And they get it through.
Vrodos. Johnny.
Courtesy of Johnny Vrodos.
Vrodos. Hard-working player. Started off at Waratahs and couldn't really get an opportunity there with the point system, so came across to Darwin and has been a good player for them for the last season and a half. Once again, Jared Stokes gets the clearance from the congested area, and smart play there by Johnny Vrodos. Just stays down, roves the pack, goes over the back and gets an easy one for the Buffalo. So 14 minutes gone. Darwin are out to a 15-point lead, as you'd expect. And, Darwin have just got to try to get a little bit more happening here. A bit more energy and enthusiasm for this contest.
And it's interesting the way that Stokes moves. It's very Judd-like, Chris Judd-like, how he kind of makes sure he always straightens up and doesn't really snap unless he has to. And if he does it properly. Otherwise, he's always on that straight and narrow. He's in the middle of, again, laying a tackle this time. Pendlebury gets a handball out to Robinson. Robinson just throws it on the boot. Tumbles over the top of Stafford. Very kind bounce.
He's got some skills. The big fella.
Gee, that's a good kick in. And is this Palmer on goal? 2 in a minute.
Oh.
Just the wrong side of the post.
A little bit better by Darwin. A little bit more energy coming out of that centre bounce. I don't think Coach Stokes would be overly impressed at the moment.
They could, as you say, just be resting themselves and preparing for a big couple of weeks. Obviously, they've got Southern Districts next week, who I think they do have a bit of a, what do you call it, sort of a good run over, a good record against recently. And maybe they're saving themselves for that challenge heading into finals. But in saying that, you don't want to, rest too much that you, play yourself out of form. Comes in now, and Mitchell, very undersized, put some body pressure on, but won't really be enough. Wanderers look to come out here. Boyce, or is it O'Connell, kicks it out wide to the run. Here's McMurray running onto it, plenty of time and space. He goes a short one to Thorne. just not weighted too well. McMurray will have another crack at it, will he? Buffs get the handball out for a Nicky. Nicky will have to go back to Robinson. Won't get to him cleanly. O'Connell tried to toe tap it, but didn't work. Robinson now picks it up. Gets it back and over the top. Sharples will try and beat it to the boundary line, but it won't happen. We'll have a boundary throw in on the back flank for the Buffs.
Yeah, you just sort of want some consistency. I think Darwin footy's the sides that are the most consistent after Christmas in everything they're doing. They're playing, they're training, they're treating injuries, they're doing recovery, they're doing their fitness work, and I think Darwin would want to be getting some consistency out of this game. Players to win their position and win it well. That is a free kick to Simpson. He goes long into the direction. Oh, yeah, well done there. Picked up by Burke. Weeks it over his shoulder. Gave it a contest. I thought Liam Patrick, he might have gone towards Liam, but Burke did quite well there in the contest. Goes out in the forward pocket. Buffaloes to bring it back in through Bradley Stokes. Gone 17 minutes here in the second quarter. Chips the ball short over to Jared Stokes. You know, Bradley Stokes continually gets that handball back and sets the play up. I think the player should, I think it was Liam Patrick was come to the other side and file back. You're probably better off getting someone just to stop the run of Bradley Stokes and to pick him up. Goes over to Holtz Fitz. Handball's on well there to Eldridge. He goes short to Collinson. A better build up here. Back to Holtz Fitz. Back to Collinson. Gets to his trusty left, Joey. How will he go? Goes back to his right. Goes through hands now. He puts it over into Timmy Eldridge's area, and he's done well to draw a free kick there. Might have ducked his head. The player on the mark remonstrating there. The Wanderers player in who was that? I think it might have been Juna Gama. And umpire Collins will have none of that. And going to line up here. Timmy Eldridge will kick from about 48 metres. Let's see how he pumps the old leg up. Puts it to the hot spot. Comes out. Oh, almost a mark to Stafford. Picked up by Holtz Fitz. He gives it over to Tommy Bolch, who snaps it. And he's got another one. And it's a goal to Buffaloes. Another one for the Buffs. So the Buffs now go out with just about at the 18.5-minute mark of the second quarter, and the Buffaloes have extended their lead.
Good work there from Prime Train. Ball just comes down. Holfitz gets it out, and he's got good goal sense, Bulk, as he comes to the bench now for a rest. He is one of those players who he gets a sniff of the ball near goals. He just knows, again, which way to kick it over his shoulder or to check side or to snap it, and which way is going to give him the best chance of getting it through the big sticks. That's no exception there. 2 goals from snaps at the top of the goal scorer in this game already.
A little bit better from Buffaloes now. They're starting to get on top as we head towards time on.
And we know they've got plenty to play for across the road at half-time. Pint trailing by just 6 points. If they win and Buffs lose tonight and next week, it's a finals berth for Pint, and it's silly Sunday for the Buffs. So they need to win this one. Free kick will go the way of Wanderers. Simpson, big fella with ball in hand, hands it off to Cabillo. Now goes inside 50. Thorne, the target, couldn't take the mark. Comes down to Totham. Totham just bounces it towards goal, but it's well offline. It won't even go through the sticks. Just makes its way over the boundary line.
Yeah, certainly Buffaloes will be wanting to take some winning form into the finals, so this is very winnable for them tonight. Their destiny's in their own hands. They win, they don't have to rely on anyone else.
Patrick taps it down. Thorne picks it up. No, he doesn't. Hits the deck, takes it over the boundary line. We'll have another crack at that one. So 4 goals in this quarter, all to the Buffaloes. Probably about 3 or so minutes left in this one at TIO Stadium. And just a reminder, you're watching AFL&T's coverage of the 2022-23 TIO NTFL season. It's round 17 action towards 0 round. Our captains tonight wearing 0 on the back of their jumpers, as well as one of our field umpires. And the Wanderers Yes, it is the Wanderers playing in that bright pink top, raising money for breast cancer. So a great initiative. A number of the clubs are doing up here now as well. Banks Bulldogs have their Ladies' Day next week and will be donning a bit of pink. And if you're heading along there as well, make sure you throw a bit of pink on in the crowd as well. All for a good cause. Here's Thorne. He's been given a free kick.
There's a lot of pointing going on. There's a lot of remonstrating and much discussion, but Shane Thorne's ended up getting a free kick out of all that. I didn't see much in there, but I wasn't probably paying attention well.
He can kick this for sure, Thorny. Knows where to find him. Comes in. It's a beautiful kick, and he's very happy with that. Gives them a sniff. They move to 2 goals, 8-20, trailing by just 16 points against the Buffs. Close to half-time. Well done, Shane Thorne. Beautiful kick off the boot, and as soon as he kicked that, it's just that good feeling when you do get a kick like that. You know it's just going exactly where you want it. It's going to carve straight through the wind. And he started celebrating as soon as it left his boot. Don't know if you saw that, Haley, but...
No, he just dropped off screen there, but he's a beautiful kick of the ball, Thorny. He's always, there's a few guys around like him and Roy Farmer and Ross Tungatalum that have just got that sweet contact of the football when they kick it. He's always been a good kick, Thorny.
It's that once a year sort of kick that I'll do, and it's, you know...
Yeah, that's right. I've never heard it make that sound off my boot. I know that.
Wanderers maybe on a run here. Goes inside 50 for them again. Patrick, he picks it up. Tried to kick it a bit too quick there.
Oh.
Try and paddling it forward. Bounces off the Buffs play, goes towards the boundary line. Coming alive late in the first half here.
Yeah, Thorny a bit unlucky not to get a free kick there. I thought he was down over the footy and Robinson was a little bit messy in the way he fell into his back. No whistle on the play though. Would have been an interesting one if they could pinch another goal here. Wanderers, hold on.
Free kick going the way of the Wanderers, and I think it'll be Tyson White again. He kicked the opening goal of the game.
Oh dear.
They need to be careful here. The umpires have been pretty tight on their whistle as well to give away a 50 when it's only half a chance as well.
Maybe it's because no one's got a specialised ruckman that we're seeing so many infringements around the ruck contest, because we haven't got blokes out there that play in the ruck all the time, and some of them might know the rules and they're infringing. So this kick for Wanderers is going to be really important. If for Vretto, who's been pretty good for them, if he can put one through, he'll have to go and get Thorny to show him about the wind coming around the side of the grandstand and where you've got to kick it. But yeah, if Wanderers, I think that might be the problem with all these ruck infringements, because there's no specialist ruckman out there, really. And
yeah, even if you've got someone to contest, a lot of the time they don't know that few intricate rules that only ruckmen sort of know, and it's pretty easy to give away a free kick without realising. Buff's now streaming away. They'll be intercepted there, and I think that's Dre Thompson again. He's playing pretty well for them. As we say, you give him a role and he just doesn't always dominate, but he just does the role that you tell him to do. Ball goes in now. Mitchell comes off the back, but that'll be half-time. A 15-point lead to the Buffaloes. Wanderers threatened to make a game of it, but still just trailing the pace a bit. 2 goals, 9-21. Wanderers trailing Darwin Buffaloes on 5-6-36. Now goal scorers, it's Tommy Bolt with 2, Jared Stokes, John Vrodos with and Daniel Stafford, with 1 each, and Shane Thorne and Tyson White, the goal scorers for the Wanderers. We'll be back after this half-time break.
Cliff under pressure here. They're coming out through Vile. He's turned the ball over. Picked up by Atkins. Hands off quickly to Stokes. They've got to get tighter on Jared Stokes in that situation. He goes long, and Stokes, he's kicked the first goal of the game. The skipper, Jared Stokes, has started well for Buffaloes.
Skilly?
Di Pasquale. He's started the game well. Philo, they've got to man him up. He will kick it from 50.
And he loves it.
He loves it. I think he was knocked over after it too. But it doesn't matter. Brody Philo's kicked one for Tigers. Gets the ball over there to the Nightcliff player. He chips it sideways. Picked up there by Butcher. Butcher onto his left foot. Kicks it in deep. And it's a goal. So we're looking around for it. They lost sight of that one, and Butcher's kicked it on his left foot. That's one for the archives.
Virtue of that. Fijo has the football, goes back to a good player in McQueen. McQueen's been pretty good too. He's had a bit of possession. Playing in front of Dunstan was good and picked up by Mensa. Snap on goal, and there's District's first. 10 minutes in, District's on the board.
23 NTFL season, and we're live out here at Norbuild Oval to watch the Southern District's Pint blockbuster.
Certainly proving that way. Point inside by hand, running into an open goal, looking for the player, moving forward, can't find the handle. Now he does the hand, kicks the goal.
At last they've found a way.
Thomas Burnett. Minor score, so a point each in the third term. Quick play the ball.
You run into an open goal.
And you run into an open goal and kick it against the run of play. Against the run of play, Andrew Mead Harding kicks a goal, and that mightn't have been Dunstan that time. I think that might have been Willsmore. Oh, high tackle in there.
Can you go around the corner around? Dangerous, or did it work?
Jack Sexton deserves a goal. Been fantastic, Sexton. Neither does he.
Very good handball. This
Long
one.
handball. Well, now they've got a kick. They do kick the football. Kicked it up forward and a goal.
That looks like,
Yeah.
I was going to say McQueen, but it's not McQueen. It's the guy giving the high fives. 31.
It's Barry.
Barry.
Yeah. Yep. Not precise. Districts go forward. Mark dropped. Picked
This
up
time.
Fijo.
Yes, that time. He's got it.
Ronald Fijo has put the nail in the coffin well and truly, and Districts go out to a 7-14, 4-4 lead. Almost, we're just about to tick into time on in the final term. That's
A
left footer
pass.
and does it nicely. Jack Sexton takes the mark, has a goal, got one in the third term. We'll run around the corner. Play on called the field umpire. Sexton kicks on goal and should not miss from there and has not.
So how many goals has he got? That's his second?
It is. Me, you blokes. I don't want to get.
I'm,
I don't want to get zapped. Don't touch.
I'm sure one of the experts said it wasn't going to rain then.
Will not rain, Gray.
Oh,
And
okay.
there we go. That's a goal.
Who's that?
Finally a goal. Oh, finally a goal to point.
Looks like the big fellow, is it? Number 4, don't know, the little fellow.
Melseed.
And there's a goal to Districts by the skipper.
It is indeed. So they've put this game to bed, haven't they?
He's been prolific in this first quarter. It's a pretty open forward line. Calder's there. Parry's right with him. Ball spills over the back. Cook make amends for last time, and he doesn't miss that one from 15 metres out down the corner, and he sticks through St Mary's second goal. He's got to watch the play on here. He chooses not to. Honours the lead of Calder. Guthrie dropping back in the hole. Calder on his left foot, right at the top of the square. It's a 2-on-1. Enrique Andrews is in all sorts of trouble. He's surrounded by 3 St Mary's players. Ball spills to the captain, Paredes. Is an absolutely dominant first quarter, and that's St Mary's third goal of the quarter. Take that slippery ball, comes out of Grenfell, and he just says, I'm kicking this as far forward as I can, and he does a really good job. Calder almost could grab it. That's Yaron there. That's Fowler. He's first back. And he's been electric in this first quarter and a half. Fowler. He kicks his second. He picks up, comes into Musgrove. Almost a look-away handball to land on his non-preferred right boot. Groves was on the goal line there. Had a good crack at touching it. Umpire went at it and landed in the lap of a player. Comes into Warwick Campbell. He throws one on the boot. Only player inside 50 there was Jellyman Turner. He couldn't gather. Farah did. Around on the left boot. He took a lot of water with the kick. It was very heavy underfoot. That's well done there by Joe Farah. Aston Hamsey's there. Picked up there by the Parliament player Kyle Keane. Comes there to the St Mary's play around the corner. Good body work on the line there by Jackson Calder to clear that. Couldn't be taken there by Tyson Todd. Yaron's lurking. That's always dangerous. Nick Yaron on his right boot says thank you for coming. Ball back in the middle. Just looking at the cricket there. 7 for 175. He batted first. Scorches 1 for 47 off 6. So it looks like a fair game of cricket happening there. Brock Land swings around. Jack Land swings around on his left boot. And is that his 4th or 5th?
That's his 5th.
That's his 5th. Yeah. Down there to Farah. I reckon Farah may be injured. He hasn't spent a lot of time in the midfield.
Brave taking a bounce on a night like tonight, but he trusted the groundskeepers. Lovely kick, lovely goal.
And that's Lance of the Dillon variety to add to his 77 possession. Aside, and they got some space there. He goes to Brockland, who's worked himself beautifully into this game. Palmerston player went up high and hard. Umpire said it was a push. Palmerston player said, no, I went with my knee. It doesn't matter. Ball goes over the back.
About just over 5 or 6 minutes to go, you would think.
Comes down there to Dillland, and that is the cherries on a very, very good game from him.
Tackle there from Fijo. Trying to wrap it in. He gets a handball out to Stevie Motlop now. Gets a handball off to Totham. Totham, very tight, kicks it onto the run there of Matthew Motlop. And he'll go into an open goal, you think. Kicks the first of today. Great goal, and the Wanderers are off to a fast start. 2.5 minutes in, they kick the first goal. Instead, he goes down and finds Dre Thompson. He goes over the top to Nicky. He's got Motlop if he wants. Instead, he goes for home. What a kick that was from outside 50.
Wow, what a goal.
He's got one contest ahead of him. He'll have to go to Morris, you'd think. He gives it off to Fijo. Fijo runs instead to 50. Goes towards goal. Big kick. Will that make it all the way? It has.
What a goal. Nice easy kick in there to Thomas Boys. Looking for Stevie Motlop again.
Motlop picks it up. Snaps on goal on his left. Has that gone through? It has. What a goal that was from Stevie Motlop. His third of the afternoon. I don't think it was intended for him, but good mark for the Wanderers player. And handball off to Totham, not good.
Oh, Tipalura's unloaded.
What a goal that is.
What a goal.
To Bennell. He's looming dangerously. He's got a player out the back in John Tipalura if he can get it to him. Is that rolled to the goals?
What a
it
goal.
has. Fantastic effort there.
Unbelievable goal there by the Tiwi Bombers.
Nice little handshake there as they tried to... good work from Thompson. Just dances around the man on the mark. Now kicks towards goal. Is that going through? What a goal there from Dre Thompson.
A goal by Dre Thompson. We'll mark down another one.
That's Bennell. Bennell goes to Farmer, who's just come off the interchange. Farmer will play on. Kick on goal. It'll float back through and bounce. What a goal from Roy Farmer. Straight off the interchange bench. Here comes Munkara. Very silky. In and finds Shannon Rioli. Back to Munkara. Munkara on the run. Great kick on goal. And he's got it through.
But she's a defender, so they don't often pick up boats. Waratahs have a number of players. Tiwi Bombers have got a number of players. You know, it's anyone's, I think. Stevie Motlop's going to have another shot on goal.
Check side. That's through. So that's number 11 for Stevie Motlop.
Well, one more and he's got the dozen. Stevie Motlop, we're 14 minutes into this final quarter.
Base instead will go to Bennell and Burke will keep running. Bennell now goes to him inside 50. You'd think he'd have a shot. He does. Very good kick. And Burke, he kicks his second of the quarter. Do it. Just taps it. He's got 3 opponents to beat. Now comes to Stevie Motlop. Will he go the check side on goal for number 12? He will. It's gone straight over the umpire's head. What a goal that was.
Stevie Motlop with 12 goals here at Gardens Oval today for the Wanderers Football Club. What a performance. game.
Welcome back to the second half here at TIO Stadium, and it's big Eddie Simpson who's got the hit out down, but Sterling Mitchell, his counterpart, will take the first clearance, gets it forward for the Buffs. And handball backwards. Maybe an errant one for the Wanderers. Now comes out to Palmer, dances around one, gets a handball to the milestone man. Holt Fitz in his milestone game, 100. And he's got a goal finally on the board. Well done to him. 25 seconds it took, probably less than that even, Damien Hale. Not a bad start for the Buffs.
Yeah, good start for Buffaloes. They've probably had a little bit of an honest chat at half-time. Coach Cameron Stokes would have demanded a little bit more from him, a little bit more energy. I suppose, you know, sometimes you have to make your own atmosphere in footy, and it's not a big crowd here. It's a bit of a dead rubber in many ways in regards to Wanderers' season. Is pittering out. They'll play their last game next week, so sometimes you just have to make your own enthusiasm and get things going, and that's what Buffaloes will be trying to do in this second half, make their own atmosphere.
Absolutely, and we mentioned at the start of the game, it's a weird one because it's not the most appetising contest coming up, but it's probably the one that has the biggest impact on the ladder as it stands, that kick out to Bulk on the wing. And neither team really showed up to play at the start of the game. It took them about a quarter to get involved, and even then that last quarter was pretty slow and sloppy. I hope the Buffs aren't playing themselves out of form ahead of final series. Here comes Holt Fitz again. Rolls around onto his left, centres that one. Ishmael Palmer at the fall of it. In fact, it's Nicky, sorry.
Bit of tunnelling there from Coco.
Be a free kick against.
Yeah, Nook Mansell had eyes for the footy then, and Coco basically took him out.
Good honest footballer, Nook Mansell gets a handball out to Thompson. That kick not good. Comes off. It's come off Tottenham's hands and over the boundary line.
I think that might be Caleb Nicky in the back half, number 13. Thompson sort of further up the ground.
You are right,
yeah.
Haley. Stokes now gets a handball over the top and just tumbled forward from Armat Watkins. Holt Fitz lurking, didn't contest in the air. Ball comes out the back to Dos Santos. He now kicks it long. Matty Campbell be at the fall of it.
Nice bit of light under the TIO stadium lights there, shining off the top of Matty's melon.
Dos Santos gets involved, intercepts, and now he goes long out the far side to Burke. Burke can't take the mark, and so Will Robinson rolls around, goes a tumbler forward. It'll be intercepted.
Ooh.
Don't know what he's done there, McMurray. It hasn't worked out, and the Buffs have another opportunity through Stokes. Holt Fitz on the burst again, takes a mark.
Well, if McMurray's playing golf, that's an airy. that's a stroke penalty. He's addressed it and missed the ball totally.
And this young man, he's really setting it alight in this second half, isn't he?
Yeah, they need, Fitzy's one of these players that really does lift the side, and he doesn't need to get a lot of the footy to dominate. And I think the grand final when he won the Cheney medley, I think he, from memory, kicked 5 goals and probably only got 7 or 8 kicks for the day, but he made them all count. And Buffaloes really need him to come to play in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Stafford trying to claim a mark there. Umpire has none of it, so Dos Santos will bring it in. Back out to a 22-point lead. It's a good kick. He's found the big fella in Eddie Simpson.
You don't mind Simpson getting the ball back there? If you're Buffaloes?
Nah, it's the forward half is really going to damage you, and
that's right.
You know that the big fellas every now and then will have a wayward one in them, so getting it back isn't too bad. That didn't come off him, but Buffs have another sniff on goal here, don't they? Ball goes back to Dos Santos, who's been pretty lively as well. Wrapped up, tackled. Umpire will call for a ball up.
You look at both these sides and you think if you injected a couple of genuine big men into these teams, it would totally change the dynamic of the side.
There's Nicky, Caleb Nicky, working. Stafford rolls around, snaps on goal, very high, very wide. just threw for a behind.
Yeah, so because you end up, when you've got an undersized teams, you end up having back flankers having to play key spots, forward flankers having to play key spots. And if you put a sprinkling of big bodies down the chain, drive chain, it totally changes the way the sides go about it. And both these sides could do with some extra big men.
Well, you look at a player like Sterling Mitchell, and he's a pretty good example of that. He's probably a flanker would be his preferred position, and he's there manning the ruck against Eddie Simpson.
Yeah,
it's a good kicking board again to Stokes.
They've sucked right up the ground. Nearly all the entire 36 players are in the Buffalo's forward half of the ground. But yeah, and so when you look at sides like, Saints have got a couple of very handy big men, Nycliffe with Butcher and overall Robinson, Bowles down back. They've just got big bodies around down the middle of the ground, and it makes a massive difference. And I think that both Buffaloes and Wanderers, obviously Wanderers have a lot out at the moment with Marlon's wedding, but just have those big bodies down the middle, and that means that these running players are able to play in the positions they're more suited to playing.
And looking at Nycliffe, Aidan Robinson, a player like him is a massive addition to their side because he's a big man. He can play ruck, he can play centre half forward, but he's agile and versatile, and it means that you can have those two other blokes kicking bags up forward. And Robinson, still by all accounts, had a pretty good game too.
Yeah, and they won't get Melville back, so Robinson slotted into that role. Trent Melville really did set that forward line up, and I'd love to see those type of a few bigger bodies in these two teams, because I think they'd really change. As I said, it would make them far better sides than what we're currently seeing when you've got smaller guys having to play key positions.
Liam Patrick, another big fella down the line, calling for it. Try to body his way through. And, players like Patrick are handy when you have him in, but I think everyone knows he's only probably played about 5 games, and they don't really know when he's playing until the day of or day before. Can't rely on him as a sort of walk-in starter, can they?
Still lives in Largemanu, I think, and his commitment to footy over the years has been sensational, to be honest, travelling all over the territory to play, and Liam obviously played at the highest level as well, so I had the pleasure of coaching both Liams, Liam Jarrah and Liam Patrick, back in the Thunder days.
Ball goes through and Sharples, he'll get in the end of a toe poke. Now he works it forward. Stafford in a good position, and he takes a good mark there ahead of his opponent in Dustin Briscoe, who Briscoe's been okay for them. Haven't seen much of him. Might be his first game for the season for the Wanderers, but he's probably one of the few out there who can hold his head high. Ball's gone shorter again now to Tommy Bulk.
It was well done there by Stafford. Got a little bit of a knock, I think, and that's why he handed the ball off to Jared Stokes. But Jared's always lurking around there to get that handball, and because his delivery's so good, he doesn't miss targets when he's kicking across the stripe.
We go a check side, and that's well wide.
Yeah, don't know what the what do you call him? The freight train?
The prime train.
The prime train. All right.
I think it's his personal training venture.
Yep.
And he's sort of prime training, and he's the prime train.
He's got a wicked mullet.
Yeah, he does. I don't know if it's a bit wet or something, but it doesn't look as blonde as it usually does. It's just sort of the tips tonight, isn't it? Getting a bit long, and that undergrowth is coming through.
For all your hair advice, ring Will. Will the Ranger.
Yep.
He'll look after you.
Yep. Don't worry, Bulky, I got you back.
Well, I said when he gets to 500,000 followers, I might look him up.
Yep.
In TikTok.
Download TikTok yourself. Are you a TikTok follower, Haley?
No, not really.
No.
I don't mind there's some funny stuff happen on that, and but I sort of listen to Bill Burr and Jim Jeffries, go-to comedians. So I love Robin Williams, but I'm not a big TikTok person, to be honest.
I feel a bit old for it sometimes myself.
Ooh.
The big Ed Simpson's gone down, not looking too good at all. I think he just copped one in almost straight on the schnoz. Yeah,
Charlie Sharples just went in there into that contest, and made high contact with Ed while he's down over the ball. I don't think the umpires have got this right at the moment in Darwin Football League.
Wanderers work it forward now. Patrick at the fall of it. Pendlebury mops it up, gets it to Bulk, doing it at both ends at the moment, having a much better game this week than he has in the last few. Sharples gets a handball to Stokes. They've got a lot of traffic to get through. Not sure about that kick. They need it to work for them, and Robinson's almost just given a little don't argue to his opponent. Gets it now to Aaron Stokes. He goes down the line looking for Palmer. Palmer receives some body contact. Rodos got a handball out over the top. Only got it as far as one of the players in pink. Now comes forward to Thorne. Thorne gets through one. Now to Nicky. Nicky out to Mansell. Mansell. Oh. Gee, that was a good bump he absorbed there from Sharples.
Yeah, he should have tackled him, Charlie.
Now goes further abreast. Out now. I think this is Daniel Cleet. Goes down the line to Patrick. Patrick used his body well there, and he's worked the free kick as well.
Kept having a go, Wanderers, haven't they?
Goes long. Toddem in the pocket all by himself. Uncontested mark. And Toddem, one of the most improved players for the Wanderers over the last few years. I think he ended up coming third in the Nichols medal last year. Which
he's a hard-working player, young Marcus Toddem. He runs hard. Runs through the lines and
kicks over the top. And he's gotten it through. So reduces the margin to just 18 points.
Well, they keep having a crack, the Wanderers, which is well done to them. A little bit wayward early in the game, so they were 2-9, and had they maybe kicked a little bit straighter, they could have been a little bit closer. But good hard work there by Marcus Toddem, ran to space and was well used.
It does feel like a blustery day out there, and we saw that in the previous games today. I think this is my third game here. Also did the women's Buffets and Wanderers, and men's St Mary's and Waratah, and all games sort of seem to have a bit of wind about them, so it's not great at accuracy, but it's been a theme of the day as opposed to, mind you, the skills tonight haven't been fantastic, have they?
No, it's quite cool though, so I think it's a pretty good night for footy. There's a little bit of a breeze, but it's pretty nice. When Mitch Robinson doesn't have his jumper up like a boob tube, we know that the weather's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Now working it forward again. Wanderers, they could be onto a hot streak here. Just paddles it back through, and Sterling Mitchell will try to pick it up. Just bounce back, he'll have another crack at it. Now gets it cleanly, handballs it over the top. Gee, that wasn't a clean one though to Sharples, and they'll have to go back inboard. JJ Motlop put some body contact on there. Robinson now with it. He's pushed there by Ankin Lewis. Handball will try to get out of there by Morris, and they'll just work it forward into the advantage now of Tyson White. He snaps it round the corner. Dre Thompson at the fall of it couldn't take the mark. He had two to beat. One of them was Eldridge, and he'll pick it up now. He's got a few to get through, and he does. Jared Stokes,
he's on a different level, isn't he? Like, everyone fumbles and bumbles around about the footy, and then when Jared Stokes wants to come into the game, he just grabs the footy and takes control.
Dos Santos, he now rolls it forward. And there's been a free kick pulled out of there. Blood rule, in fact, sorry. Not sure who it's coming from.
I think it'd be Mitch Robinson. I reckon he copped one over on the wing there. And
speaking of the boob tubes up for Robinson, that's just fallen down, but he pulled it up briefly.
Yeah, no, Robinson's coming off, I reckon. I think he copped one over the far side. He reeled out of a contest. He might have got a cut over the eye or something. Anyway, 14 minutes gone, Will. 22 points, the margin, is it? Or 18 points, sorry.
And both these teams still have plenty to play for. Across the road, Pine are in the lead 5 minutes into the final quarter, which means their season could be over if Buffs win tonight. If not, Pine could be in for a sniff. So too could the Wanderers if results go their way, but they've got a long way to come back from. Yeah, Robinson's just copped a little bit of a knock, got a bit of a leak from the cranium. Now goes down the line. Good mark there from Bradley Stokes. He goes forward. Again, just making sure of it. Short, sharp ones. They kick out the wing a bit more adventurous. McMurray gets in the way, made them work for it. Gets it over the top to Bradley Stokes again. He now goes further abreast and it's kicked inside. I think that was Vrodos. Running back through was Stafford, and Holt Fitz running towards it, and the ball's just collided with a few and bounced over the boundary line. So Stafford doing the ruck work in the forward line there for Buffs. Matt Watkins almost slung down. Stafford just snaps on goal. Is that gone through?
Goal. Yeah.
Oh, what a ripper that was.
That's what he can do, isn't he? Daniel Stafford there. A bit unlucky not to get a free kick there, I think, Matt Watkins. But Dan Stafford, just as nonchalant as you like, grabs the ball out of the pack, throws it on the boot and goes through for a goal. That's what he's capable of. So Buffalo certainly needed that one. 16 minutes gone, 51-27. And they get that little bit more breathing space again from Wanderers.
Stafford's another one of those players out there tonight, and he's 30 next year, so he's still at a pretty reasonable playing age. But as you say, Stokes can just turn the game on, and when he gets involved, it's a different level. Stafford, when he's on as well, no one can really match him, or no one out there tonight really looks like they'd be able to match him if he does make that step up into, what do we call it, Haley, fourth gear.
Well, Mitchell just stayed down that time, didn't he?
Simpson still lurking about it, waiting for the short ball to come out.
Yeah, Buffs will be wanting to really dominate this last quarter and a bit.
Now comes through. Arbin, he kicks it forward. Looking to get onto the bottom of that was Burke, but he couldn't, and Campbell gets it on the back flank. He handballs it through now to Pendlebury. Pendlebury gets it through. Kick forward, but only as far as Caleb Nicky. Matt Watkins with a free kick now. He works it forward. Jared Stokes. And I hear that Jared Stokes, if he picks up votes from...
Beautiful kick.
Great kick. If he picks up votes from the NT News tonight, then it means that he's won their MVP award for the year.
Well, I think he'd be getting 3 at the moment. He's probably been Buff's best player again tonight. Does a beautiful kick, just weighted perfectly for the leading Liam Fitzholt.
Kicked one tonight in his 100th NTFL game.
Go on, Fitzy, whack one through.
Absolute competition live wire. That one's gone through. They're happy with that. They'll get around him. His second of the quarter.
They need to, with Holtz Fitz, he needs to be that sort of player where he's a confidence player, and I think that if he brings that if they can win tonight and they get to that elimination final against Nightcliff, that's the sort of player that they need to really spark them. As I said, he doesn't need a lot of touches of the footy to make an impact, and if they can get the ball to him 10 times and he can have 6 or 7 shots on goal and kicks 5-2, he puts them right in the contest. I suppose Wanderers haven't really... Ed's just kept going in the ruck all day too, Will, and I'd mix it up, maybe get Liam Patrick to go in for 5 minutes and give Ed a bit of a spell up forward. Yeah,
I think a player like Ed as well, he's pretty talented. He's going to get interest from elsewhere, even if it's just to keep him on side and let him know, we do want you up forward kicking goals as well. I think he did pretty handily in the Dennis Dunn Trophy, if not last year, perhaps the year before as well. So he's a talented forward. He knows where to find him. Running forward now is Jared Andrews. A kick, though, landed in the lap of Patrick. He goes a short one again over the head of White. Maybe he didn't think that one through as well as he could have, but White will check side it through. Just touched over Kevin Moroney. would have been something perhaps to spark the Wanderers on. They now come out to Favretto. Been a handy pick up for him as well.
Yeah.
I think he's qualified, but don't think he would have played many more than his qualifying matches.
Yep.
Possibly a VFL or one of those state league competitions he's played in before.
He's been pretty clean tonight, hasn't he? He's a good player.
Again, Stokes just down that far wing to the lead of Campbell.
Into Daniel Stafford, no doubt.
Into the goal square. Rolls around as Vrodos, snaps it through, very happy with that. Another one on the board. And this one is slowly but surely getting out of the Wanderers' reach.
No, missed it.
Well, you did miss it.
Yep.
It's another point on the board. Still takes it that step further, Haley.
Yeah, 30 points. Better transition then from Buffaloes.
Bring it back in. Oi!
4 nominations.
Little Bo O'Connell try to make his claim for mark of the year. A fair way away from the ball there. Crosses the other side of 50 to Bradley Stokes. A short one. That's found Bulk, his target. Bulk's been pretty good tonight. He's already kicked 2 in that last quarter, both sort of pretty crafty snaps crumbing from the back of the pack or the bottom of the pack.
Yeah, good build up there, just going across the top of the key, Buffaloes, and looking for the forward that's coming towards them and rewarding that forward. You know, the forward that makes the hook lead and comes back at you, you need to reward that effort. Otherwise, they'll stop doing it. So that was a good lead and good bit of delivery by Bradley Stokes.
Big high kick offline. Now out to 31 points. Big long kick. Burke gets on the back of it, handballs it forward to the run of White. Probably not the best move when you've got a Stokes in your back pocket. Pendlebury, he'll move it forward through to Bulk now, and there's another Stokes if he wants to go, but he won't. Instead, we'll go long to Stafford. He's taken the mark beautifully.
Too big, too strong down there, Dan, and too clever. Beautifully use of the body there. He just protected the drop zone. He went past where the ball was going to go and then just held his form. And Juma Garner, I think it was, in the contest with him, and once the contact came, it took Daniel back towards the football. So good bit, smart bit of play there.
Almost just had to sit down and let the ball sit in his lap.
Yeah, clever player, and a fit Daniel Stafford when he's switched on and playing footy is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Watching him play football. Bit of a stuttery old kicking style on this one.
It's all right. The umpire didn't move at all.
No.
His second of the night as well, so he joins Holt, Fitz and Bulk as multiple goal scorers for the Buffs.
Yeah, good goal there by Stafford, and Darwin have slowly got on top here, and Bulch has, been probably one of their better players this quarter, along with Bradley and Jared Stokes. You know, Bradley Stokes has basically got a licence to push up the ground out of fullback, and they're rolling up well, Buffaloes, and locking Wanderers in and making it very difficult for them to get out of their end of the field. So a better quarter here by Buffs. Very attacking at the centre bounce, as you can see. They got 2 guys forward of the ruck, so they're backing their ruckman in, even though he's undersized.
And the talent they've got in there as well, Pendlebury, Stokes and Robinson.
There you go.
With 3 there. You'd almost say top 6 most important players. Robinson kicks it forward. Campbell at the fall of it, couldn't take a mark. Cabrillo paddles it back to Dos Santos. Very clever. Now comes out of the defensive 50. Robinson had to take a diving mark and he couldn't. Thorne wrapped up almost without it. Now getting onto it's Lewis. Gets it over the top to Thompson. Thompson has to go quickly. Running onto that now will be Kelvin Howard. Will Robinson's put some good pressure on the ball. Gets out to Sterling Mitchell in the back line. He worked well. Surrounded by pink jumpers. Now comes down to Clark.
He did well there. Mitchell just kept his form and kept his head over the footy, kept it in front. Well done.
Now comes to Bulk on the run. Handball happy, the Buffs at the moment. Handball over the top and back to Palmer. Almost got themselves into a bit of trouble. Holding the player. Umpire calls advantage. Tom Clark kept going. Not many others did. Stafford was the target. Couldn't take the mark. Comes out the back, and again they'll handball it out to Stokes. Bit too quick fire. Siren will beat them, so just shy of 25 minutes, and it's 9-11-65. The Buffaloes have almost sealed this one. 3-10-28 against the Wanderers. We'll be back after this three-quarter time break.
To the left of your radio they go.
Wow, what a goal to start the game.
Beautiful. Goes for home and it's nailed an absolute ripstorter. From the pocket and he's kicked an absolute ripper.
Cliff under pressure here. They're coming out through Vile. He's turned the ball over. Picked up by Atkins. Hands off quickly to Stokes. They've got to get tighter on Jared Stokes in that situation. He goes long and Stokes, he's kicked the first goal of the game. The skipper, Jared Stokes, has started well for Buffaloes.
Skilly?
Di Pasquale, he's started the game well. Philo, they've got to man him up. He will kick it from 50.
And he loves it.
He loves it. I think he was knocked over after it too. But it doesn't matter. Brody Philo's kicked one for Tigers. Gets the ball over there to the Nightcliff player. He chips it sideways. Picked up there by Butcher. Butcher onto his left foot. Kicks it in deep. And it's a goal. They were looking around for it. They lost sight of that one. And Butcher's kicked it on his left foot. That's one for the archives.
Virtue of that, Fijo has the football, goes back, Goes back to a good player in McQueen. McQueen's been pretty good too. He's had a bit of possession. Playing in front of Dunstan was good and picked up by Mensa. Snap on goal, and there's Districts first. 10 minutes in, Districts on the board.
23 NTFL season, and we're live out here at Norbuild Oval to watch the Southern Districts Point blockbuster.
Certainly proving that way. Point inside by hand, running into an open goal, looking for the player, moving forward, can't find the handle. Now he does the hand, kicks the goal.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium. We've got the final quarter here of the round 17 clash between the Wanderers and Darwin Buffaloes. I'm Will Zwar, with me is Damien Hale, and it is just shy of a 40-point margin. I think it's 37 points out there, Haley. And yeah, interesting game. It hasn't been the most exciting one we've seen this year.
No, it hasn't been, but Darwin is slowly getting the job done. Wanderers have battled away and have had an honest crack, so here we go for the last quarter, Will.
So it looks like Wanderers will start it early, and I think that's O'Connell who's just handballed it onto his own advantage. If he ran onto it and picked it up, that would have paid off, but it wasn't to be. They kick it long now. Robinson, the target, playing on Dos Santos, so he's the player that Dos Santos has managed to match up with.
A bit of experience there by Mitchie. Just got himself in front and got infringed into his back. A bit of a limp. Went off with the blood rule during the third quarter, but he's back now.
Launch this one, just get into the hot spot, and at the back is Palmer. Giving away a free kick.
Big Ed Simpson. A lone hand in the ruck tonight, Simpson. He's been okay, worked his backside off.
Be a tough role on a night like tonight, I reckon, where your team's not necessarily in the contest, but you've still got to do your best in the ruck. Goes short to Arbin, who started off pretty well, but has kind of dropped off the last few quarters. Finds Boys. Short one to Dos Santos. Tight on the boundary. Looking down the line. Kicks it high and long. Patrick is well under that one, and Clark will crumb it, snap forward. Dos Santos at the fall of it. So too, Boys. Now comes to Sterling Mitchell. He's burnt. Matty Campbell.
Kicked the goal. Great finish there by Sterling Mitchell.
You'd want it to be when you've burned Matt Campbell was in a paddock of space there, and he's just gone over his head, and it's floated through, but done enough, and Matty Campbell won't be too upset with that in the end.
I wouldn't think so. Matty was the first to be clapping it over his head. The great Doug Kelly from back in the day. If they kicked him over the head of Dougie, he just gave him the big clap as they went through. And a little bit reminiscent of Doug there was Matty Campbell as he... that one went sailing through, so well done, Mitchell Sterling. Bit of a reward for toiling away all night against Simpson in the ruck.
And they've really missed, was it Big Benny Archard they had last year? One of the more dominant ruckmen we've seen almost since Dennis's year, where he played a full year with the Magpies a few years back.
Yep.
You know, he's been up and now in Southern Districts, but Archard was such a weapon for them, and they've missed him a bit this year. Here comes Stokes streaming through the middle. 2 in a minute. Just the wrong side of the post.
Yeah, very let off there for Wanderers. Jared Stokes would kick those 9 out of 10 times.
Holt Fitz getting involved in his milestone game as well. His first season with the Buffs, and notched up 100 games after what I imagine would be probably something like 85 with Nightcliff. Kick to Thorne, and Thorne's got a runner in Burke. He'll get it down there.
Probably closer to 90 with Nightcliff.
Now rolls through, kicks it towards goal. There was a big Buffalo back there, and it was Will Robinson, took the mark pretty easily. Goes out to that back pocket.
Yeah, this is where you want to see Buffaloes use the ball well, because they will need to use it well coming out of their back 50 in the finals.
Stokes picks it up, goes back to Bulk, intercepted though by Burke. Burke's coming to the game nicely. Not sure if he's I don't think he's a youngster. I think he's more a Prem Reserve sort of player and a, you know, sort of your extended squad who you can pick from when you have a club wedding down in Adelaide for the weekend.
That's it.
Here comes Dre Thompson, tackled over the boundary line.
Yeah, Buffaloes will be really looking at finishing off this game strongly and kicking 4 or 5 in this last quarter, tune themselves up for a big clash next week with Districts. But I think Pints, have we got a result from across the road, or is it still going?
Still ticking over. There's 7 points and it's 26 gone in the fourth, so not
Nightcliffe are up.
Nightcliffe are up. I think it might be the top 5 sealed in a matter of seconds, a matter of moments, and effectively making this one a dead rubber. But Buffs would still want to make sure that they keep form, and that was sort of our fear in that first half, Hayley, that they were almost playing themselves out of form. And they've got a big game next week against Districts, but they don't want to come into an elimination final against Nightcliffe and get embarrassed or pants. You'd almost rather finish 6th in that situation. Here comes Campbell, gets a handball to Holt Fitz from impossible angle, doesn't know what to do, so just runs a bit more, gets a handball off, unselfish on his milestone game to Collins, and just puts it across the face and through for a behind.
Yeah, Joey had a lot more time there than he thought he had. Collinson just missing to the left there, but you know, some good signs for Buffaloes up forward when they can get it in there quickly. And Fitzy gets his hands on it. Matty Campbell, Joey Collinson, they've got some talent there.
Dos Santos goes into O'Connell. Speaking of talent.
Yeah, he's been all right tonight, Bo O'Connell. He's worked pretty hard.
Goes long. I think that's Arbin over there. In fact, no, it's Burke with his green boots. Bright lime coloured boots. You wouldn't have been a fan of the fluoro shoes, would you, Haley?
No. Don't like them.
Block colour black, I reckon, would be your boot of choice.
Yeah, that was it.
It's a good kick down to full forward, and I think it's is it young Marcus Totham down there, or McMurray even.
Yeah. Ryan McMurray, little McFlurry, has got on the end of one, and we'll go back and kick a goal here for Wanderers.
And serviceable today, McMurray.
Yeah, the Eagles, you know, they've kept coming. You know, they've just kept having a go all night. A little bit depleted, as we said, but you know, they've been able to bring some young players in, and that's what it's all about. And a few of their senior guys have stepped up and did okay for them as well. So, you know, it's sometimes these things happen, and you know, people are away and that, and you need to try to get the most out of the opportunity of playing a game and get a few of the younger guys in and give them a go. I think Ed Simpson's had a real red-hot crack tonight in the ruck as he trudges back to the middle again. We know that he prefers to play forward, but obviously tonight he had to roll the sleeves up and get in and do what's best for the team.
Don't think there's many ruckmen across the country who'd say they prefer to spend a whole game in the ruck than they do at full forward resting. But that's part of the duties, isn't it?
We just had Woodbury was lined up on the wrong side there, so he had to quickly move.
Rough on the knees as well, jumping up all day. Here comes Totham, rolling through to Simpson. Simpson try to soccer kick it, and there'll be a free kick going the Buffs' way, and I think a 50-metre penalty as well. And
Sharples
just across the road, it's officially season over for Pint. They've gone down by 7 points.
They can be pretty proud of their first year in the Premier League, the Pint Footy Club. Done a great job. I think they've won 6 games and were pressing right up until the second last round to get a spot in the finals, so they can be pretty happy with how things have gone for them. So well done to Pint, something to build on for next year.
In a couple of disappointing games, they didn't beat Tiwi once, the only team not to do so. Here comes Sharples with a shocker back to the back line, Charlie.
That reminds me when I get to the first tee and I pull out the one wood And the disappointment of topping your first hit for the day. That was a bit what Sharps brought to the table then.
Yeah.
A little bit like my golf swing, that kick.
Gardens links when
Yeah,
hit it wrong and it goes into the lake.
No, mate, I'm a member at Palmerston, the only PGA course in the territory, Palmerston Golf Course.
Yep.
Member out there.
Now gets it back through Lewis. It's a handball back.
Oh.
As he was tackled, not a good kick away. Here comes Rodos off to Pendlebury. Pendlebury, cheeky one off his side of his boot.
Uses it well, Pendlebury. Joey, go back and kick the goal. You're a small crumbing forward, Joseph. You've got to hit the scoreboard. Go back and he's got a nice kick on his left, Joey. So tell all those blokes trying to shark it off you like seagulls looking for a chip. Go back and kick the goal, Joey Collinson.
Good distance here. He's getting pretty close to the man on the mark, though. That's a good effort, good swing, but just offline. And I wonder if he'd not quite gotten so close to his opposition, if maybe he'd been a bit more straight and accurate, not as high and loopy.
Almost 10 minutes gone. What are we, 40-point game?
Big margin for a low-scoring game. Good work from, I think that's Sharples again, or is it Moroney? Gets it back to Bulk now with Aaron Stokes. Short one over the top. Matt Watkins just turns around easy as you like, kicks it, centering kick into the corridor. Palmer can't take the mark. Holt Fitz try to paddle it forward. Collinson, Palmer, he picks it up, kicks it, won't be a score, but will be in the goal square. Diving for it was Campbell, kept it in his vicinity. So too was Stafford, but Wanderers get it clear. Now running onto it will be Totham. Gets it onto the run of, I think that was McMurray. And now out onto that far side. Jack Burke, he takes a mark. Goes back. He's got a few options in the middle. A long way away, though, so instead he goes forward to Patrick. And Shane Thorne just streaming into an open goal square. Kick wasn't good. Will Robinson just punches it through for a behind.
Yeah, good build-up there by Wanderers. And, Liam Patrick, the idea was right, but probably needed to have that kick a little bit more of penetration over the top of the Buffaloes player there to get to Shane Thorne. Those two have tried pretty hard working up there. Limited opportunities in this second half as Buffs have taken control of the game.
Switches out to Nicky. Oh, big hit from Arbin on Eldridge mid-flight and giving away a 50.
Oh.
Probably a softer 50.
Yeah.
But we know that the umpires have been, I think they're doing their sort of final few rounds of regulation season, saying finals are coming up, make sure you're on your best behaviour because we will ping you for anything untoward.
Yeah, it was probably there.
Oh, good intent there onto Campbell, but courageous from Cabillo.
Yeah, Joel Cabillo's only eyes for the footy then, Cabillo. Well done.
Good kick out there.
Getting the switch going, Wanderers now late in this game.
So Buffs really just counting down the clock here as well. Players out there wouldn't necessarily know that they've got that fifth spot wrapped up, but the next fortnight they'd just be wanting to get through without without any injuries at all. Now go into Holt Fitz. He rolls onto his left.
Oh, laced it out.
Did the team thing, but there was no teammate there to receive the support. Now comes to Palmer. He just fends one off. Kicks it backwards to Nicky. Nicky had to divert a bit. Umpire calls not 15. Wanderers players run into each other. Stokes kept his feet. He paddles it through. Clark picks it up. Runs around one. Handballs it over the top. Umpire calls advantage. Now Collinson, the crummer, goes through. Kicks a goal. He's got one. Haley, your man.
Yeah, well done, Joey. Yeah, legged in there. Jared Stokes would have got the free kick and went over to Joey Collinson and he kicks a goal. And that's what your small forwards need to do. So well done, Darwin. They're finishing off quite well here and have broken out to a handy lead with, what have we got, 13 minutes gone in the last quarter. It's all Buffaloes. as they tune up for a big game against Southern Districts next week. They'll certainly know where they're at after they play Districts.
And not really a great night for a Motlop unless you're in South Australia tonight. With Pint going down and the Wanderers going down, both effectively. Wanderers more a mathematical chance than a realistic chance, but season over for both of them as of tonight.
Yep.
Stokes, he runs away from one, from another. Now goes inside 50. Campbell, beautiful, laced out. And just straight from full forward. Looks to share it around. Just a sideways kick to Nicky, who was probably short, not necessarily short change, but unlucky not to get a mark in that last one. Umpires called it probably about 3 centimetres too short. So he'll line up from about the same position instead for a shot on goal. Former Tiger, Haley?
Yeah, it had a lot to do with Coco, and when he came into the senior team at Nightcliff years ago, and played in that first premiership, the drought breaker. Finishes off with a good goal there. Has always had a bit of a connection to Wanderers and Darwin and through family, so he decided to go over to the Buffs with Liam, and he kicks a goal there, so he's done well. So pretty well winding down on this one. Who are the goal kickers? Can you give us an update on those when you get a chance, Willie?
Yeah, so we've got 2 each to Liam Holt-Fitz, the milestone man, Tommy Bulk, the prime trainer, to big Daniel Stafford. Singles to Vrodos, Nicky, Joey Collinson, Sterling Mitchell and Jared Stokes, and I'm 1 goal scorer shy. For the Wanderers, we had goals to Shane Thorne, Marcus Totham, Tyson White, and Ryan McMurray as well. He kicked their goal this quarter from the goal square. They've kicked 1 in each quarter so far tonight, and that's never going to be enough for a winning score.
No.
Now finds Nicky again, just behind wing, goes forward to Favretto all by himself on the flank. Now into the lead again to Campbell. Gee, he knows how to burst away from his opponent, doesn't he? Unfortunately, that one's just slipped out and spilled over the boundary line. So Simpson on Stafford again. It's been a bit of a tiring tussle for both of them tonight, you imagine. More so for Simpson, who's done it in the middle as well. Handball goes out. Good work there from the Wanderers player. Just sidestep and get a kick long. Bounced over the boundary line. Gain some distance, if nothing else. Good luck to the umpires picking votes tonight, because there's not really many standing out at all. There's one I can think of who gets the 3, but even the 2 and the 1 I'm struggling for. Simpson paddles it down. So too to the others, trying to get the 2nd and 3rd touch. Nicky in the middle, rolls around, now kicks into the pocket. Palmer, gee, he's a pretty promising prospect.
He is.
Big, and he's agile, and he's like that. He just looks pretty good in the forward line. Another element, bit of X factor. The 3rd prong, almost the 4th prong, depending on who's firing there for the Buffs. I notice Big Luke Whelan hasn't been playing for a few weeks. Not sure if he's coming back, but when he's on, Big Whelan's been very impressive. Here comes Palmer.
Nice kick.
Just across the face.
Away. Yeah, he's I think on paper, like Darwin, they're a real tease, aren't they? Like, you look at their side, and I spoke about consistency in that 3rd quarter, and I think that's the thing that Cammy Stokes should be really trying to strive for. Consistency in their training and their recovery and their everything that they do, and then bringing that into the game. And I think that's the one thing that misses with Darwin. I really believe that this side could be, a couple of years ago they played off for the flag. I think it could be a side that could be a top 3 footy team, but they're striving to be the side that they want to be week in, week out, and I think that's their real challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the best footy I've seen played all year from any team has been the Buffs when they're on, when they're firing on all cylinders. But in saying that, and I think this is a stat uncovered from Nat Chambers from the NT News, is they've only beaten the one top 5 side this year, which I think was Nightcliff, before the halfway mark in that first half of the season. That kick on goal just offline, and you look at that stat and it sort of, you know,
jumps out at you.
Yeah, makes you think they probably don't deserve more than 5th.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that when they play their best is certainly up there, but they don't play it regularly enough to threaten your Waratahs, your Saints, your Nightcliff, your Southern Districts.
Working it out of there was Burke, who's really come into this game. He's probably almost earned himself a podium in terms of Wanderers' best players, but they're a long way down the pecking order when you're staring down a, 8 goals and 5 points. 53 points, I think the margin is now, 54 points.
Yeah, Bradley Stokes has been pretty good too, out of the back lines, just marshalling the troops there. Been good. Tommy Bolch, I think, is probably in the votes. Jared Stokes has been their best player, in my opinion.
Ball at the bottom of the pack now, just spills out. Wanderers perhaps a late one. They've only managed a goal in each quarter. Can they up their average here? Good attack on the ball from Aaron Stokes. Kept his feet as well. You like to see that as a coach. Don't hit the deck, and if you do, bounce up pretty quick.
Yeah, often players here will lose their footing and dive at the football. And my coach back when I played at St Mary's back in the day, John Taylor, would go off his head if you deliberately lost your footing or you weren't strong in the contest. So, you know, it's a real art form, I suppose, guys just holding their balance and their form so that they can stay in the contest longer. You're not a lot of use to anyone when you're laying on the ground. Ticked over into time on. 89 plays 35. I think this guy's probably picked up a vote. I'd say on my voting would be Jared Stokes, best on ground. Tommy Belch, I'd give him a 2. And here he is again with it. And I reckon I'd give a 1 to Bradley Stokes. There's my 3, 2, 1. Willie?
Happy enough with that. Just looking through the names, and yeah, there's not really a lot standing out apart from Jared Stokes at the top. I think I'd give my 2 to Ryan Pendlebury there. And my 1 probably to Bradley Stokes as well. He's been pretty good off half-back and even rolling up through the middle as well at points tonight.
Yeah, Pendlebury's been good. I'll give him an honourable mention. And I think Daniel Stafford's worked pretty hard up forward and given them an option.
So too with Liam Holt-Fitz. I think he's been good in his milestone game, and it can be easy to, speak of the devil, get carried away, but he's done the team thing as well, not just, gone for glory. He's looked to give it off as well and enjoyed himself out there too.
Yeah, for Wanderers, I think you touched on the Blake Burke. Young Jack Burke's had a pretty solid game. Joel Cabillo has worked pretty hard across half-back. Bo O'Connell has given them plenty of run through the middle, and he's been kept cracking in. I thought early on Arbin was good as well for them. And Ed Simpson in the ruck just toiled away all day as the captain, wearing the 0. Obviously, it's the road safety round and towards 0, and the captains are wearing 0 tonight. And it should be a goal for all Territorians to have a 0 road toll.
Ball now finds Thorne, who, again, serviceable, probably just misses out on their best players, but really the sort of player who you're almost hoping a game like tonight he'd turn back the clock and give the fans something to cheer for. Wasn't to be tonight. They've got St Mary's next week, so you'd think that St Mary's will be keen to rest up now they've got that top 3 spot locked away. Kick inside 50, and Holt-Fitz in the pocket all by himself in his milestone game. Maybe it's not just over for him yet. He's kicked 2 already. As you mentioned, we're in time on.
Yep. A good reward for Fitzy's game. He's got that one out on the left.
Happy days. Well done, Liam. Congratulations on the goal and on 100 games.
ticked over well into junk time now, and the Darwin Buffs have done it pretty easy. Good second half from Darwin, and probably a little bit that they can take away from this game. And obviously in 2 weeks' time they'll have a big challenge. They've got Southern Districts next week. I'm not sure how they'll approach that one. But
yeah, very interesting game. I think it's the District's bogey team, the Buffs. They were lucky to get away with the draw early in the season with Nick Waitman copping a nasty head knock, effectively halting the game before half-time. And I think it was 41-17 or something at that stage. So about 36, no, not quite 36 points, but yeah, Buffs were running away with it. You look at how the teams have been performing since then, though, and you don't really see Buffs challenging them. Though who knows what Buffs will be fighting for and what Districts will be resting for. Holt Fitz has got another goal. His 4th of the night, second in a couple of minutes. Just got a cheeky handball off from Matty Campbell.
Everyone stopped then. I thought there must have been a whistle or something. Everyone stopped in the Wanderers' back line, and Matty Campbell kept playing, and so did Fitzy. Waxed through another one, so it's 4. Good night's work for him in his 100th.
Starting to get ugly now for the Wanderers. Out to
10 goals.
66-point lead. And Holt Fitz has probably just jumped Brad Stokes for that 1 vote in my voting. Haley?
No, you can't go doing that. Jesus, Willie. Be a nightmare you would be giving you a vote sheet. If I was coaching the club, I'd say don't give Willie a vote sheet. You cannot give him one.
Too hard. Votes aren't due till the final siren, Haley.
Yeah, no, I've still got Brad Stokes for me as the 3rd best player on the ground. Coco's gone all right, old Choco.
Yep. Be happy with his return, and doesn't really feel like he's quite hit his best form this year. A game like tonight, something he can build on going forward. Hopefully have a good one next week, and hopefully have his best game of the season for his sake against Nightcliff in that first elimination final.
Yeah, well, they'll be pumped up. They'll want to do well, those 2 boys. It's their old club.
Ball goes up. Big Ed Simpson takes the other ruck and kicks it. Finds Moroney. In fact, I think it's Sharples. It is Sharples. He goes inside the forward 50. The 2 Wanderers players spoiled each other. Picking it up was Collinson. He's got a handball away as his head was almost taken off. Handball nearly went over the top from Mitchell again, and he's pinged for holding the ball. So we'll go back to the Wanderers. Tick over 26-minute mark. Can't be much longer in this one. O'Connell gets a handball over the top to Arbin. He's been good this year, but pretty quiet tonight. He finds Totham. Totham goes inboard again to Thompson. Dances around a couple, going through. Want a little bit more to cheer for, they do. Double fister, though, in the back line. I think that's from Favretto. Arbin, he now goes forward. And good work from Kevin Moroney. Till the death, he keeps fighting. Crosses over to Tommy Bulk.
Yeah, good play there by Kevin Moroney. He just, as you said, play the game out, siren to siren.
Goes out to the wing and find Pendlebury. He's got Sharples inboard if he wants him, and he does. Not a great kick though, but it'll work, and Sharples will go inside 50 now again. Campbell, he's given off about 3. He'll give off another one to Holt Fitz. He runs around, goes into Clark. Clark now, Campbell, he'll run into an open goal and finally get one. Good work to him on the siren, a buzzer beater. They'll win by 72 points, 15-17, 107. Darwin Buffaloes are beating the Wanderers 4-11-35 in a pretty dismal night for the Muck-Mucks.
Yeah, tough night for Wanderers, but they fought it out well. Buffaloes showed a good second half, which will keep Coach Cameron Stokes happy, and we head towards the finals, Will. So, yeah, thanks.
Thanks for tuning in. We look forward to bringing you next week's TIO NTFL 2022-23 season action and finals beyond that. It's been great bringing the footy to you. See you next time.